and do that. Oh, yeah, no doubt in my mind. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Okay. I don't need this thing. All right. That's one problem. I don't know what's going on. All right. I don't know if the that one, but anyway, it don't matter. Um, so the we go to Matthew 8, 23 through 27. Okay. Now, this account is in the two Gospels, Mark and Matthew. And to give you a little bit of an idea, um, well, let's go ahead and read it. Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. And without warning, a furious storm came upon the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. And the disciples went and woke him, saying, Lord, save us. We're going to drown. He replied, You of little faith. Right away, he's hit the problem that they have, faith. And he says, when he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him. Now, I want to give you a little bit of history about Matthew. Matthew, the book of Matthew, is not written in chronological order. It's not this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. It's a series of 6 conversations that they have, and the scribes write it all down, and then they put it in the form that that Rome receives it, and it goes into eventually the Bible. Because if you used to read on in Matthew, it's another chapter that before Matthew meets Jesus. But yet we know Matthew is in the boat with all these guys at the time. So it's kind of like me talking about fishing trip. You very seldom ever hear me talk about fishing. But wait a minute, that may be a little bit of a fib. Just a little one. Yeah. Right, Dennis? Got to get off the preacher church. But I may start off with, man, we went to Minnesota and look at the fish I caught. And I'll show the biggest fish right off the bat, right? That may not happen until third day. So I'm not going to tell you about all the other stuff till we sit down and we start comparing pictures of fish. And, oh, wait a minute, let me show you this one, and we're going to go to story. That's kind of the way these stories are written. And this is quite a bit later in the life of Matthew. It's written between 70 and 100 AD. So I think, you could call it CA, but it's AD. So this is after the 9/11 moment. Do you understand when I say 9/11 moment, what that is? We have a 9/11 moment. And it was when they attacked the buildings and they fell and all that, right? Jerusalem has fallen in the year 70. And they're trying to get this stuff written down. And so between 70 and 80, most likely closer to 80 was when this book is written. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of history so that you can understand how this book has been written. Okay, I just want to make sure I get my stuff. Now, Matthew, as he writes this book, he writes it in the form of a priest. Let's understand that Matthew's dad was named Levi. And that's a priestly name. He was raised and groomed to be a priest in the future. But for some reason, doesn't really say. Yeah. I like the echo. But for some reason, Matthew is. I'm so sorry. You guys got to put up with me. But he doesn't become a priest. He becomes a tax collector. Everybody here got a tax collector for the best friend? So sorry. But nobody liked tax collectors because they made their money by saying, hey, Keith, you owe $14 in taxes, and then, or denarii, whatever you want to call it. And then they were going to pay the Rome 10, and then they kept 4. So nobody liked them because they were always skimming money from the group. So you could say Matthew wasn't extremely liked. Now he probably walked around with a little box on his face, on his forehead, to show how many scriptures that he remembered and knew. This guy was groomed to be a full-fledged Pharisee. And what happens? He goes to be an agent for Rome. Now, I want you to understand in the year 70, I keep wanting to say 1970 because I remember that year, but in 70, the fall of Jerusalem, and the temple is torn down, all the gold and everything is taken away. Do you know what they built in 73? If you think of Rome, you think of what is it? The Colosseum. Yeah, that's no fair. You know. So, but the Colosseum was built. Where did they get the money for the Colosseum? Taxes and the taking away from all the gold and everything in Jerusalem. That's how they paid for that bad boy. No wonder it's sitting in crumbles. But that's beside the point. So I give you an idea of the book of Matthew. I just want to try to give you and Matthew writes, if you'll notice, he'll write a story and then he'll tell you how the Old Testament was fulfilled. The prophecy was fulfilled. He'll give you Isaiah and he'll give you different ones because he knew those things. And he'd say, Jesus did this, Jesus did that. To us, it may not be nothing. But to Matthew, Jesus was the Messiah because he fulfilled this, he fulfilled that. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And he does that. It's almost like the miracle is the mountain. And then he brings it down, he tells you the prophecy, and he starts climbing the mountain again. So when you see that, he does that 6 times throughout the Bible. And that's kind of Matthew's way. Now, one of the things I do want to tell you is Jesus calms the storm. We just heard that scripture. And the very next story is they get to Gadarene, the other side of the lake, after the storm. And what happens? They run into a maniac. The guy was crazy running around the beach. There's a storm inside the guy. And there's a storm in you, or there's going to be a storm in you someday. And you need to know and understand how do you approach the master. Psalm 44 says, "Oh Lord, wake up. Do you not see me?" He knows that he's in anguish and he wants the Lord to wake up. Guys, the Lord doesn't sleep. He doesn't have to. But Jesus in man's flesh was tired. We go through chapter 7. He's up on the Sermon on the Mount. And what's he doing? He's teaching people. He's making bread and fish. You know what I mean? He's doing a lot of things. He comes down to the side there, and literally the people are just following and pushing him, and they get into the boat. And what's he do? What would you do? Tired, and you go sleep. I would say most people might sleep until the waves start hitting. And is there any people in here like boats, spinning boats? Man, I'll tell you what, I love boat riding. But I was in a boat, Lake Erie, and we were out, and we were watching everybody leave, and we're a couple of rookies, and you think, oh, these guys are missing the best time. Well, the fish are really turning on. Yeah, and this guy came by, and he's 40-footer, buddy, and he looks at us, and he says, boys, you better get in. They're getting high inside. What's high inside me? and that what that means is as the winds pick up a little bit, those little 2 3 footers out there, 9 miles out, those are easy. It's just roll. But as you get in, that water's thinner. It's not as deep, and those waves pick up big time. Now the guy that I was with, he, phenomenal. That's all I can say. He saved our lives. But we're going in, and it's my fault. There's 2 sides of the jet. This side puts you in the rocks. This side puts you into the harbor. And guess what? I said, no, we gotta be on the other side. We gotta be on the other side. He goes that way. Listen, fuck dummy. And all of a sudden, we're in this big hole, and we got 5 6 foot waves. We can't even see over. And he turned around. He's in trouble. He's got that 100 half cranked up. We're flip flopping up the road, and we're not going out. We're still sliding backwards with 100 half, everything had in. And as we get out, I turn around, I look, and the jetty at the end, somebody left it open when they built that jetty. And the wave was washing in there and rolling around, and I pointed to it. And on top of the wave, he takes that boat and he rolls that wave around like that, and that boat is now surfing. I'm still amazed. Yeah, no kidding. I tie that boat to my arm, and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm giving my mom a body to bury." I was that afraid. I knew I was playing because the boulder's big there. There's no way we're gonna make it. And that dude took that boat, surfing right down that wave, angling off to the side, and we hit that opening of the jetty. I was scared. So when these guys are saying they were scared, I understand that fear. By the way, on the other side of the jetty, about 10 feet, the boat died. We was out of gas. We was close. Can't. I tell you what, and to this day, he said I was literally there wise as a ghost, holding up the dock. And I still remember him saying, "What's the matter, man?" And I had no idea it was going to be this close to death from fishing. He said, "Man, not a piece of cake." And off he went. This guy been in Vietnam, had full time, everything else. This piece of cake. Okay, I get it. I get it. But that's kind of the idea that these guys were fishermen, and what are they doing? They're scared to death. They're dying. They're going to drown. When are you going to face that moment? I always like telling people, when I talk to them about salvation, well, I'll wait. I said, let me give you an example of something. You're driving down the highway. Everyone understood we're 10, 15, 20 miles over the speed limit. And we're talking, but somebody is asking us a question. And we look up, and there's a semi in front of the brake lights. What's the first word? And almost everybody says, "Oh God. Oh God. This is oh God." You ever been there? I'm going to do this as top, and I'll talk about the sheriff. When we give it a service, we're supposed to make people uncomfortable, and we're supposed to make people who are uncomfortable comfortable. I'm going to question that. I'm going to put yourself through, because I know if you're comfortable, am I going to be uncomfortable? But if I'm comfortable, am I comfortable? And I'm trying to show you, and I know it's not easy to understand, but how this is happening. Literally, they are afraid they're dying. A few of us have been there. So when you get there, I need you to understand something. When you yell, "Oh God," you will walk faster. Don't yell, "Oh God," because the bacon's burning. You see what I mean? Like, this is you feeling sorry for yourself. No, you God, you know, away. He's away. He's listening. He's waiting for your call. Now, in all things, getting back. And I'm big on talked this week to some guys, and we was talking about praying. And where in the Bible does it say that we're supposed to pray for our meals? And I said, man, I got to pray. I just like praying. And he said, me too. You know what? He said, give us this day our daily bread. But it doesn't say that we should pray for our meals. Guys, I'm there. I'm praying. I love to pray. And he doesn't. What? I don't feel it. I feel that he listens to our prayers. But I just yell at him, for something stupid. And I'll be the first one, guys. I fly out the kid all the time, and I know for a fact it hurts my feelings. Because I've heard him. He must say, what did he say? How's that going? Well, you get going. When you say something wrong with that, which how's that going? Well, that socks right off. Yeah. Did that happen to your car too? Yeah, man. Tough. Ice. Shoot. She's Lord, this is going to stop me. And she did that. I just right like that. Guys, I have got to say, I've got occasion or two to slide that back over into her. So, and then you get that. That's so at the moment, people in the boat were afraid for their lives, where they failed to recognize is dead Jesus in the boat. And that is the most important thing to remember is to have Jesus in your boat. Yeah. If you're lost today and you don't have Jesus in your boat, you're going to die. Yeah. But guys, that's an opportunity for us as saved people to do what? Let me tell you about Jesus. Yeah. Let me tell you about the way we get through this. Let me tell you about the way I hope that the day that I go to my bed, I am dying. Let me go. Yeah. I can't wait to see you. Yeah. You're taken care of. I'll see you when you get there. Right. Don't you leave before me. But you got to understand that the boat is a metaphor for your life and for your situation. This thing could be your death. We've all seen somebody pass away, I'm sure. I'm thinking. Most people have by the time you're retired. I've been EMT and watched my dad die. So, it's no fun. It always gives you that oh, they're saved, Yeah. And man, it's a shame. I didn't know anything about the they left. But Jesus awakens. He instantly recognizes the problem, and that is faith. Because without faith, they are full of fear. Does anybody here, are you afraid that you're going to go to your behind the car won't start? No. You got faith in that battle. You go out there, you fire right up. But what happens when it stops? Call Vaughn. But you're full of fear, and at that point, the death of the car is on you, or in your situation, your death. And how are you going to deal with it? Are you going to deal with that with cars? Or are you going to deal with that with, we're going to drown? Let me ask you a question. Did the apostles get salvation at this time? They hadn't had to sacrifice the Christ on the cross, did they? So what have they done? A bunch of good work. Has Jesus saved them yet? He didn't save Judas. See what I'm saying? These guys were afraid they were going to die because they knew what the situation was. We have salvation in our lives. Yeah. We can give salvation to other people as a free gift. The most expensive gift ever created, we keep giving for free. And what are we doing? It's comfortable. I'm hoping I'm making you uncomfortable. Are you telling people about Jesus and salvation? Because they're going to die. None of us make it out alive. I don't want this going to heaven. I want to go with the undertaker, not the undertaker. So, and but here's the big thing: he stands, and what does he do? Huh? Well, she just told me today. Did you? So he said, "Peace," and Martin says, "Peace and be still." And what happens? Water's calm. Guys, you can do that. You've done it. Right? This is Jesus doing it. And the people are witnessing this. The apostles, why are they amazed? He has done all these other miracles, all the way down the mountain, and before the mountain, the leprosy, and we could go on and on and on. The food for the 5,000, and all these miracles he's done, and yet this is the one that makes them go, "What just happened?" It's crazy, but they did. They're astonished. They're astonished. Hey, I'll give you something that astonished you here today. Jesus saved even me. Guys, I'm the last person that you'd ever think would have got saved. And dead gum, you get a hold of me and straighten me out. Now he's still working. There's a lot of you to do. But the neat thing is even I, vilest offender, can be saved. That's an amazing thing to me. I rejoice in the fact that when I was on my knees and I said, "Can you? Will you save me?" He did. I mean, amazing thing. But Jesus rebukes the wind, and he rebukes them for not having faith. It won't be like me if I do a test on something, an impedance test or an old test on an injector, and I look at him and say, "Right." And then he's like, "Man, how do you know that?" Although I don't know that. I'm just trying to give you an example. But he rebukes. It's not in the Bible, but I want to give you an example of something, and I'll try to show you here later what caused that quick storm that he could rebuke right away. Just think about it. Who would have wanted him to say to die? Demons, Lucifer, Satan, anything, right? He's asleep. Let's sneak up on him and get him. We'll get the whole budget and all the shop. Now that's what I'm talking there. That's not in the Bible, okay? But I'm going to show you how good that stuff. Come here, and I might not look like y'all. Okay? It's a little messed up. And so then we move on, and we've seen Jesus calm the storm on the sea. Just now there. The good we don't get out till 12:30. Hot stuff. Everything else gets out 11. 12:30 is when the good stuff comes out. So we go from him calming the storm on the sea, which everybody's there. Amazing. And be sure to understand, you need to keep those words in your ear and in your mind. Peace, be still. Because when you're facing that moment and you're about to get wound up and you're about to let things go, peace and be still can help you. And that moment's going to come. If it's not already came in your life. But he gets to the other side of the lake where they've been traveling, and he gets to Gadarene, and they meet up, and as the boat's coming up, there's two men, and they're very violent, and they're running back and forth, they're naked, they're doing all kinds of stuff, and they're out there because there wasn't a lot of jails. And nobody could tie them down, nobody could calm them down. And these guys were just vicious. But the one guy recognizes that it's Jesus. Or I should say, the demon possession in him recognizes it's Jesus. And says, what have you come to do? Torture us before our time? So what did the demons know? Who Jesus was. Amen. Right? Because they'd all been in heaven one time together before the sin, the ascension. So we have a maniac, and he's begging Jesus, not put the demons away, to let him go into, to stay there, to go into something. So they spot the demons named Legion. They spot the earth pig, and they said, "Let us, suffer us to go into the pigs." Did Jesus do it? He didn't. He didn't condemn them or nothing like that. What did he do? If that's what you want to do, go. Where did the pigs run? And into the water. So pig died. Where did the demons go? In water. You see what I'm saying? Could they be what stirs up the storm? Like I said, that's how I can take this. Because he just now sends the possessed hogs, they run into the sea and they die. By the way, I wonder if that's where salt came from. Just put that on your baby. Because if they came up, what they did, right? But I'm so sorry. So quick, Jesus recognizes the man as a demon possessed, and recognizes Jesus as what does he want with them, even calling him the Son of God. The reference to torture. They see him escape into the pigs. I'm just going right down here through my notes real fast. And Mark, and please understand, Mark is written before the book of Matthew. Matthew kind of mirrors Mark. When you start to see it, Mark is first, and then, and I'm not talking about the whole Bible, I'm talking about the Gospels. And Matthew kind of mirrors Mark. And no doubt there's probably asking questions about Mark's Gospel and Matthew. Yes, this happened, that happened, this might happen. And Mark is much more detailed in the story of the maniac. The neat thing is the people that watched all this happen seeing Jesus and that man together. And here's the neat thing. He was sitting at the side of Jesus, calm and in his right mind. I've had those days in my life where my brain is just, you too. Let me tell you something. After I could say, those days didn't go away, but I had something I could lean on, and that was Jesus.
Amen.
And so when you start to see that, they asked Jesus at that point, because now they're scared, because this guy who was nuts and crazy and spared everybody is now in his right mind. And Jesus did it. You got to go. Instead of embracing and saying, you restored my brother, you brought back my son, you've done this guy, was so bad. Instead of being happy, what did he do? They tell Jesus, you got to go. Oh, why did they do that? And then the maniac, what does he want? He pleads with the apostles. He pleads with Jesus. Let me go with you. Would he want to be there any longer? No, he doesn't want to be there. Let me go with you. And Jesus says, no. Because this guy is an absolute witness. He's an absolute witness. What we ought to be. And I've got it right here. Are you? Are you sitting uncomfortable yet? Are you uncomfortable? Are you the Jesus of Jesus to people who need him? It's a quick couple minute thing. Don't be embarrassed. It's easy. Where you stand with Jesus? At the funeral, guy in a wheelchair on oxygen, and everybody's pushing him everywhere. And I walked up and said, partner, where do you stand with Jesus? Oh, I don't know. I said, are you saved? No. I said, would you like to be? No. I said, that's your truth. I said, I can give you the way of salvation. And you can be saved, knowing that you can enter eternity together. Yeah. Not a preacher. Okay. People don't understand that. You do that. Knocking the dust off my feet. And I won't think. What did I do? That guy, I've got close friends that I talk to Jesus, and what do? I get so excited. No. Okay. Thanks for the 5-10 minutes you gave. See there. And I can't imagine you not being happy with me. These guys have been with me since 8 years old. I just can't. If he was watching this, get saved. That's anybody except Jesus in your heart. So I talked about Jesus, and we've asked him to leave our government, our schools, our lives. Here's something. We've asked him to stay out of our judgments. Haven't. And when I say that, you may think, what do you mean? Stay out of our judgments. As Christians, what are we to do? We're to help our brothers and sisters. Yeah. But we're supposed to judge, do you need help? Can I help you? I'd be the last person to judge anybody who things past. Believe me. And I'm not there to correct that. I'm there to help. Do you need help? Do you need somebody to talk to? Do you need Jesus? That's my number one concern. Because once you get Jesus, you know what I got on my side? The Holy Spirit. Like a soul time. Man, I can't wait. I know the Spirit coming. I'll be talking to God's people tomorrow. And the Spirit's going to give him. What was I doing this morning? 5:30. Right. I wish I wrote better at 5:30. But so we get to the point where Jesus leaves. He's been asked to leave, and he leaves, leaving the maniac there to witness. Later, Jesus returns. Same spot, same place, and what happens? Everybody done talked to him. Then it got in my mind that this maniac was street preaching. He's on the corner telling people about Jesus, and everybody said, "Oh, it's just that crazy guy that got Jesus." But yet, he's preaching what Jesus did for him. And who comes down among the horde of people? Who comes down to talk to Jesus? A man by the name of Jairus. Jairus got a sick daughter. He's having an old God moment because she's going to die. And he knows it. So what does he do? What's he do? I bring my buddy all the way up to Minnesota. He's having an old God moment. I want to go with him. Jairus runs down to the side of the beach, and there's Jesus approaching. And what's he say? I need you to come and talk to my daughter. She's sick and is going to die. She's close to death. Let's go. So Jesus is on his way. He gets held up. But you know what he gets held up on? A lady decides to touch the hem of his clothes. Why? She needed healing. Didn't she? She had a blood issue for 12 years. And all she wanted to do was just touch the hem of his garment. And she knew that was going to save her life. And what happened? Jesus stopped, turned and says, "Who touched me?" All the while, Jairus' daughter is doing what? Passing. She's passing away. Jesus goes through this whole situation. Just to more or less let her know that she's healed. And she knew it. Instantly, she was healed. And then as they proceed on to go to Jairus' daughter, Jairus' men approach you and say, "Stop bothering the master. She's gone." Here's the neatest thing in the world. What happens when Jesus shows up at the funeral? Does anybody know? What happens when Jesus shows up to a funeral? That person gets up and walks. Right? So, let me find it here. In Mark 5:36. Can somebody read that for me? Mark 5:36, the Bible. Mark 5:36. While Jesus was still speaking, some men came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue ruler. Did I mention he was the ruler of the synagogue? This is the top dog in the town. I'm sorry. Your daughter is dead, they said. Why bother the teacher anymore? And somebody read 36 aloud.
As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the Lord, "Do not be afraid, only believe."
I need you to believe. Amen. I need you to believe that not only did Jesus save, but he saved you to lead others to him. He saved you to spend time with you as an individual. He wants to be in your life. And all you got to do is say. It's so simple. And then you got somebody who walks with me, who talks with me, long lives. Narrow way. I think that makes a great song. You know what I mean? So he says, I need you to believe. You think the guy believed? He did not let anyone follow him except James and John and the brother of James. And when he came to the home of the synagogue ruler, Jesus saw a commotion and people crying and wailing loudly. Oh God is the moment they're having. She was passed. I remember my grandma passed. Killed her. Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but she's asleep. And they laughed at Jesus. Remember, this is a guy doing all these miracles and they laughed at him. That's how conditioned the people are. Not only then, but now. And tomorrow, they will be conditioned the same thing. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him, and they went into where the child was. And he took her by the hand and said to her, Talitha, Kum. That means, little girl, I say to you, get up. And immediately he was. That moment you got saved. Who didn't want to be in heaven back then? I beg God, take me now before I mess this up. I knew who I was and what I was capable of. Take me now, get me there. I don't want to mess you up. No, he had other plans. Thank God. Thank God. I got to lead other people to Jesus.
Amen.
Talk about coming to church, things like that. Man, is staring. I didn't get to leave Jesus, but I got to talk to his family. And they were looking at astonished. Again, they're astonished. Again, are you astonished that Jesus can be saved? How could you be astonished? You've got a book that tells the stories over and over and over. And yet, that day when you arrive in heaven, you're going to be like, wow,
Yeah.
it's real. That's what you meant. Oh, I can't wait. Where's that group to see? It's their poles. That's me. And then he says, give her something to eat. Not only did he save her, he brought her back, but he wanted her fed so she could go on. Something else. So what Jesus is simply wanting you to have is faith and to believe. Two easy words. Do you have faith in Jesus? Do you believe in what Jesus did enough that you would mention it to somebody? And if you're here and you're uncomfortable and you need comfort, Jesus is the way. There's some rough areas in your life, but he is definitely there to take you out of those areas. I remember right away, I got saved, and what happens? I get to my home at that point, which was my shop. I was living there. And before I could get the phone back to my phone, and together, going to try to bring me back in. And here's what I said. I got to pray. I want to talk to you about Jesus. I got saved in there. And I heard click. Greatest thing ever happened.
Amen.
First thing I did, I confessed Jesus as my Savior. And that was too much for me. There was What is mine in my life? Because I can see something literally turned off and walk away. Hopefully, he said, "There's no getting that guy right now." He's trying to over. There's no way to me at that moment because God has sure. All right. I want you to have faith and believe that He can save you and He can bring you back to life, either here on earth, and you need to grab a hold of this, or an eternity. Do you understand what I mean by eternity? When you pass, you'll have eternal life with Jesus, which is a lot better than eternal life now. Will we reside in Him or not? I could have got up this morning, but I could have said three things. Hell's not. Jesus saved, your choice. And I could have walked away, knowing that I just preached God's word. Am I wrong?
No.
Try that. You'll get some second look. And then you'll get somebody thinking. I need to talk to you about that. The really thing about that funeral the other day was when I finished and I walked out into the hallway to greet people as they came through. That lady popped up. She says, "I realize you don't understand or know, but I led her to Jesus 6 months ago." And what did I say? Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Praise God. What do I do? There wasn't a soul in the family to know about Jesus. They were so sorry to see her go because she was such a big part in her life. But is anybody going to go see her without being saved? They're going to be split from her for eternity.
Yeah.
That's a long time. My sermon. It's a long sermon. Well, I'm going to ask you this. Would you please tell somebody about Jesus? Maybe you've been for me. On the seaside resort of Galilee, talking to the main guy in the church. Working on a car one time, I had a guy roll up, and he was at the front of his vehicle, saying he was about me for somebody. I didn't catch the name out of it. And he said, "Can you look at my truck?" And I said, "Yeah." He walked out the garage, looked at the truck, and as I'm working on this truck, I looked over at him and I said, "Man, I got you a question. It's all over. Where do you stand with Jesus?" He just kind of, "What?" I said, "Where do you stand with Jesus?" "Well, I'm the youth director at Rivers Crossing 3 up in Kings Island." I said, "Okay, where do you stand with Jesus?" "What do you mean?" I said, "Are you saved?" "Well, yeah, I'm saved." I said, "Good." That guy told everyone. Next thing you know, I'm getting people at the stop and I'm looking at their vehicles. They said, "By the way, I'm saved." I didn't even get a chance. But now I let people with Jesus in that shop. That's why I call it the saving section. Not only will we fix your car, but we're going to fix your soul through Jesus Christ, my Savior, my Lord. Thank you for letting me do that. I appreciate it. And I'm so sorry that you're both.
Amen.
All right. You want us to pray out?